YouTuber movies are, well, I was gonna do a bit, but shit. They're shit. Movies that far and away fail to capture any of the magic those YouTubers had, if they had any magic to begin with. However, it's a pointless endeavor as most YouTubers aren't built for the big screen anyways, with a small minority being those that started out doing short films and films on sites like YouTube. So in the end, it's a pointless bid for cash and won't even come. Forced to release on sites like Prime Video with such magics as The Last Guest, or Food Fight, or even The Final Project, where you only get a small percentage of what you could do. However, when you team up with some of the biggest social media stars of the early to mid-2010s and film an overly long sketch with them, force it to release years later, any of them are remotely still popular and their famous skits are taken down because of something we'll mention later, and the film's been pushed because of something we'll mention later. That's actually the only thing. Their skits are only taken down because Vine's been dead for 8 years and remodeled into something else. But you end up with a truly bizarre experience that one can't really describe but by showing you what happens. And in case the clips you see seem like enough, it gets even crazier, more jumbled the farther we go. Jeez, I'm starting to sound like Mr. Beast here. The film begins like good films do, an airplane safety video with outdated internet references. Yeah, you could really tell this was filmed all the way back in 2016 before a certain forced incident that forced it to be released way later in 2019. Talk about dead on arrival. And it's just filled with the least subtle humor. This must be how people felt watching season 4 of The Boondocks. The film really starts with an incredible look into how every Logan Paul video starts, overstimulated because of his lack of pussy via his increasingly annoying friends. Also, why didn't you just lock the door, man? It's not that hard. That way you don't have 5-6 people showing up in a really pathetic attempt to be funny.
What about your real brother, Jake?
Oh, Disney got him.
Okay, that was actually funny. It's a reference, but an actually funny one that most people would know. Plus, just the idea that a giant corporation just nabbed his brother is kind of funny. Oh, and Lele Pons is in this. Bit of a clashing tone, don't you think? Most of our audience won't exactly be too happy to see Logan Paul trying to jerk off in the first few minutes, wondering where the precious Lele is with more of her hashtag hilarious, quirky, lol, so funny, random humor that totally doesn't get old fast. Anyways, plot. Hashtagacon is happening in the exact same area as his Australian girlfriend, so yeah, power a pussy. Imagine you're a kid, fresh out of the womb. You don't really know what you're doing here. You search desperately for answers as everyone seems to already have theirs. The days go by, soon the weeks and months, then eventually years. You sift from engaging activity to engaging activity, all in the hopes of finding that one special one. Everyone is walking around strutting their stuff because they know it's theirs. They've claimed this interest in this idea, but you haven't. They don't bully you, but they don't respect you. They see you as inferior. They won't laugh with you, they'll laugh at you. But your parents have always been there for you, but you get the impression it's draining on them. They've already figured out their shit. You're now in middle school, but you have no idea. You feel like a mistake. Someone left out from the world. How can you help the world if you can't find your part of the world? How can you love yourself if you can't find yourself? Then one day you drop something, just a drawing, but it's enough to catch someone's attention. Hey man, that looks good, they say. You quickly hand wave away the compliment because if you let that warm feeling in, they'll figure out there's a vacancy where your talent is, a place eroded by your failures to become anything but a husk of a person. Yet they're insistent on it. Come on down to this class I'm teaching. It's about drawing and media. You reluctantly go, and after the first class you're hooked. No, after the first words you're hooked. And what are those first words? With a vacancy, there's a place you can see. Try out all the wonders of the world without feeling whirled. You don't necessarily turn into a coil or a ball or anything because it's not your turn. It just took a little longer. You start officially taking and acing the class, succeeding in every aspect. You get resounding praise from your colleagues and friends alike, even your family. You soon go off with a degree and some connections and letters of recommendation, and you finally made it. You're gonna be an animator. It won't be easy, but no job worth telling ever is. You get an apartment. It's small, but it'll have to do. And as you sit down, you get a call telling you to go to a studio. So you go and meet the people there, nice and ready to tell you what your first job is. You go over to the animation room, and your first job is animating a porn shoot with termites. And then you kill yourself. Because your vacancy isn't anyone's agency. You're a failure. So anyways, they fall through the floor.
It's time to get over your fear of flying. If you won't do it for her, do it for my virginity. Please, por favor.
Hey man, I'm a virgin too, but you don't see me begging Logan Paul to basically fuck me himself. Also, are you microwaving whipped cream? Do people do that? Oh, and he talks to his jerkins. Not sure what they were thinking when they were naming that bottle. I know the movie didn't name it, but okay.
Did I stutter?
No?
Then fucking rub me on your fucking cock!
I mean, he is very committed to the bit. pretending he has to jerk off instead of the countless Team 10 members he can do. Wait, were they still a thing at this point, or were they even a thing? I don't know, actually.
If you aren't so knee-deep in computer pussy, you know what's going on.
Oh, Bane's in this, okay.
Well, hello there, Mr. UPS man.
Daddy, chill.
You should have left our wives alone.
To be fair, though, this is pretty good unintentional foreshadowing of real events, minus the, dingo daycare. Oh, and they enter the airport of dead memes and vines as Wampa deals with immigration with just, again, the least subtle humor. There's nothing of actual substance that will lead to any discussions like good comedies. The closest thing to that is a Trump poster mocking him, but even that's been done but better and actually saying something more substantial. If you want to be funny while tackling a social issue, don't make the entire joke just the fact that it's happening, or at least more creatively than this.
Bag check.
What? Why?
Sir,
I just have a laptop.
you've been randomly selected by our advanced safety algorithm for an extensive anal cavity search. I got 911 reasons not to trust this guy.
There were a lot of jokes in a very short amount of time. 22 seconds to be exact. And can you count how many of them were funny? Logan gets to the plane, and the weird thing is, he's so committed to the bit that it kind of just makes it good by itself, the fact alone. Oh, and it is here where we get introduced to the best character that's actually funny, Bruce. He upgrades Logan Paul to first class because someone died and gives everyone there a Wendy's Frosty. I don't think I believed a single one of those words that just came out of my mouth, but it happened. Anyways, Chloe Bridges gets seated next to him as David Dobrik continues existing. I know, an accomplishment for him. Oh, yeah, Logan Paul can hear gay people. That's a plot point. Like an actual plot point that also helps him at the end, but I don't mention it because I don't care. It's just come to my attention. I don't think this film knows what flow is. It just kind of goes from one scene to the next. See, it's just like this whole bit, no normal flow. It just sounds weird, and for this film also plays out weird. It just doesn't actually, like, continue. It just kind of, oh, this is happening, another thing happening. Doesn't actually matter. Several things happen that don't really matter beyond one or two scenes that later pick up that don't matter. There's this thing with, like, a Lion King reference that we'll get to later. It doesn't make any sense. The plane takes off, but nobody turns on their phones to airplane mode as Lele Pons continues existing. This time in overalls. Not hating, they're cool, but, this humor isn't. Just a bunch of weird shit. This causes the plane to malfunction, essentially, getting major interference is the more appropriate way to say it, and go the wrong way, causing the two pilots to die, looking like, a certain pastime activity I wouldn't know about.
Your cell phone. Everyone knows that you put your phone in airplane mode.
I don't know why, but that actually got me. Kind of funny, so good on you, movie. But that might have been because it's unscripted and because the bar was set so low.
You know, I know what it's like to be cheated on. Yeah, this one time during midterms, this Asian girl kept looking over at all my answers. Which is ironic, you know, because she's Asian. I should be cheating off of her.
Logan, stick to the script, please. Oh, yeah, also shaking ass and stuff, because the plane is at cruising altitude. I mean, it's just like that scene from Wolf of Wall Street, which I will not show because, of course. Oh, and cloud vagina. I guess I can show that because that's a little less sexual. Okay. Bruce continues showing why he's the best part of the movie as this happens.
You kiss like my dad.
Let's just pretend you didn't say that, okay?
Yeah, that's how I feel about half these jokes. Oh, and of course, the famous coffee scene from Airplane, or I guess bit since it was like 20 seconds long. But yeah, it's done in reverse, sort of.
Make me laugh. Take someone creative. Take someone original. Gotta make a good joke to make me laugh.
I don't know why you had to scream like Big Bird, but okay. Eventually, the plot actually starts moving. Only took 32 minutes for it to happen, or I guess 31, nearly halfway into this film. These two go into the cockpit and Logan sees the situation and is overjoyed at the possibility of getting to take a picture of another dead person, this time too.
I'm trained for situations like this. You, go get me a car battery, a tourniquet, and a bendy straw. I'll have these zombie pilots flying in no time.
Sir, we don't have any more bendy straws.
I like how this implies there's just a car battery and a tourniquet on the plane somewhere, but bendy straws were taken. However, Vitali has been released and promptly kills one of them.
The fuck is Coachella anyway?
I don't know, probably coaching Ella to write a better script than this piece of shit. Anyways, Nick Swartzen finds a baby and is overjoyed at the possibility of lactating at it. Okay. Logan Paul wakes up and sees the dead bodies and attempts to wake them up. Again, he's really committed to the bit and actually makes it kind of funny. He's almost way too good for a movie he wrote. He actually has some charisma and funniness, even if it's cancelled out by other things.
No rat comes into my house without getting tamed. Goodbye, rat.
If you got someone to actually properly tame him and make him do this at certain times, and make him less exaggerated than others, he could be genuinely funny and work on the big screen.
Someday, all of this will be yours.
What? Logan and Wampa discuss plans like true philosophers and come to the conclusion pussy before death. Or I guess pussy and maybe death. Logan has a flashback to when Budget John Stamos did a silly over his bones. He goes to the co-pilot seat next to Chloe Bridges as they talk to an Aussie about hoping to land the plane. Problem is, Logan broke the autopilot lever. This causes the Aussie to get almost as mad as when they got beat by emus. He starts cursing, and again, what is the tone of this film? It's apparent these dudes' viewers are not the age demographic of this film, considering how young and naive they are. Not this edgy teenager shit, because nobody's gonna be listening to Help Me Help You with Logan Paul in his minion outfit when they're in middle school or high school. Yet this is an incredibly sexual and uncomfortable film. There's also references to many other movies, plenty of which being much more adult than the viewers' ages, and some more appropriate like The Lion King. Still a dark movie, I know, but comparatively so pretty tame. It's weird to know because Logan Paul wishes his fans were older, and so does this type of edgy, kinda adultish humor, but it won't work on any adult, as he feels too crass and devalues the cursing because of how much it's used. Then blatantly does kiddie content with all those songs and other vlogs. It's very blatantly obvious this wasn't written by one or two people that had their shit together, but rather 6 brainlets who have no idea how to make comedy other than the weaker parts of superior ones. The problem is those films can get away with those sillier, less intelligent jokes because they mostly have intelligent, smart, well set up jokes that aren't just gay people being gay, people look like terrorists, sex and vagina and boobies, constant yelling, inane references that don't hold up in the slightest, and a bunch of other contrived shit that passes as a plot apparently.
You heard it, which means you're going to have trouble with focus and forethought and follow through and organization, planning, empathy. So for relationships.
God.
And
All that's missing is King Batch with a comically large spoon.
I get some ice cream?
Only a spoonful.
Menace. Get out of my house! What the fuck is wrong with you?
Chloe tries alerting the passengers, who she previously condemned as mental patients, but Logan Paul stops her with an accent I can only describe as, well, I don't really know.
Pay no mind to the sound of struggle.
However, Vitaly shows up again to automatically redeem this cesspool of shit by just being himself and murdering someone. This being of pure strength is single-handedly holding this movie back from creating a 9th circle of hell. Wampa convinces someone to sleep with him. Well, I guess her name is Brittany. She's someone famous, apparently. Seriously, I've never heard of her. Okay, that's probably not true. King Batch decides to actually start playing an active role in the plot, and that's when Vitaly, in an act of pure racism, opens the door causing havoc on the plane, because he has more acting credits than him, and for setting back black people more than actual racism.
Yo, what's wrong?
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yo, where's your dad?
He'll be back soon.
We'll get thrown around and King Batch flies out onto another film. This time more professional, only to get fucking murked after 2 minutes of screen time. Oh, and Nick Bateman shows up after forcing this incestuous girl to give him head for approximately half the film. I wish I were joking. Also, yeah, he's been in the film before, but come on. Did you notice I was leaving him out? Were you, totally confused? I mean, I guess the film is confusing on its own, but, did you feel like, oh, there's this important character that I was leaving out? No, he was just in the background. Again, getting head from a girl who made love with her parents. Plus, this whole scene happens right after someone famous just got killed and everything goes back to normal. The hell?
Now, I don't know what's going on back there, but I'm either gonna save the day.
Oh, that's right. Soul Plane 2, the blackjacking. Get ready. This time, it's going down.
But of course Vitaly kills him because he's actively participating in the plot for more than one scene, and we can't have that.
Why?
I hear gay people.
I love how confident you are, but you're having a psychotic breakdown, Logan. Anyways, he fights Vitaly and... I love how if you put it in slow-mo, Vitaly's just waiting for the shot, knowing how much stronger he is than Logan Paul. Logan unlocks the Mega Nut and kills Vitali, permanently ridding this film of one of its only saving graces. Bruce is still alive, though.
I don't know if I got this.
I mean, if you don't got this, then who got this?
I guess I'm gonna need to get this.
Oh, this best gonna get got then.
Well, if it's best gonna get got, then ain't nobody better to go and get this than get me.
Damn, now are you yelling at me or shitting at me?
He lands the plane with the help of the monkey from the night at the museum and beats up the Aussie and sleeps with Chloe Bridges as Wampa sleeps with Logan Paul's earlier girlfriend because relationships are dead. Oh wait, no, I guess he truly loves Chloe Bridges. Wampa celebrates popping his cherry as Logan Paul meets one of his fans in an unedited video, aka breaking his femurs and leaving him. Guess we know what happened behind the scenes to his hero song. But in a post-credit scene, King Botch joins his Sex Vengers, and that was airplane mode. It was shit. Total waste of time in a movie desperately trying to get your attention, but it doesn't matter, because in order to matter, you have to have talent. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.